Oh, there we go. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Leap Taken. I'm Mika. Here at Leap Taken, I talk all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. I'm trying to get this light situation together here. I think it's going to be as together as it's going to be. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, hi. So, we're going to have a fun conversation. I'm going to be talking about witchy tools that I actually use. I'm going to be talking about, hello, 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 hello. I'm going to be talking about witchy tools. I'm going to be talking about things I wish I knew. And I'm using the term baby witch because everybody knows that term. It's not my favorite way to describe. I guess I would say new to the craft, a person new to the craft, but that was too much to write on a title. So I went with baby witch. But just so you know, it's not my favorite term. I don't like saying that. It feels a little insulting. So my apologies. Well, this is my form of clickbait. Okay, sorry. Um, but it's Friday. Hi, Sunflower and Thistle. It's Friday. Um, Honestly, the reason I'm not doing a book or a product review, books wise, nothing's given me anything that, like, I'm not seeing anything really. I'm always up for learning and I'm going to keep looking for things, but honestly, there's nothing out there that I feel like is worth having a dialogue about. So that's why I'm not doing it. Also, when I say that is because nothing's keeping my interest for that long. I'm actually on the hunt for something. I was thinking starting like a thing where I kind of dip back into older books and let's look at them now, especially even if you've been practicing for 6 months to a year. Let's pull some old books from back in the day, and I mean like more than a decade, ago, and let's see. I talked about this before, but I think I'm going to make this a thing because that might be fun. And we could poke fun at it. We could talk about what we learned about it, but just keep it light. I feel like we need lightness, right? Right? All right. So let me get into my tools. So I have to keep me from going completely off the rails about this stuff. I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to start with oils and herbs. I can show you a bunch of oils, but I'm going to show you my favorite, top favorite, and I'll be open and honest. I didn't make it. This is actually, I purchased it off of Etsy a little while ago. Well, it's been a little while now, some time. But this bottle, and it's Hecate oil. This is how it came. I think it might have had a little tag, or oh yeah, it's got this charm on it. Forgive my nails. I'm gonna be doing those today. But anyway, Venus Day. This is my Hecate oil. Not only do I like this oil, I've made my own version. I have. And I use that some interchangeably. But I love this oil so much. And I use this and let me tell you, it would be I started supplementing with my homemade oil because I didn't want to use it all. I love this oil so much. First of all, how do I use it? I dress my candles with it. Let me talk. Yeah, I dress my candles with it. I use it to consecrate certain objects. Sometimes I just use it on my hands if I'm doing something. I use it sometimes within a herbal blend. I'll, put a little bit, not too much oil, but I'll put a little bit. And if I'm going to burn it, I use it in other oils. So my oil that I made, Hecate oil, I use a couple drops of this in that oil. Um, I like it also for her offerings and things like that. What's in it? We got rose, and it's definitely a cinnamon allspice situation. It smells divine. It smells. I think it's like nutmeg. I'm getting traces of nutmeg in it, and we got crystals in here, and there's some other herbs. I'm not sure. It's powerful. It's worked. It definitely bridges kind of like a bridge between me when I'm working on communing and doing offerings to Hecate. This is my oil. So this is what I use. I supplement it with my own, but that's why it's like, because I added to my own anyway. She did a big one. I didn't tag anything because honestly, I don't even know if I could find it again. That's why I'm also, because I bought it, but it's been more than a year. It's probably been 2 years since I had this, but I use it sparingly. I don't do this sort of stuff every day, and honestly, not even every month because I use this in something else. So that's why it's lasting. I'm also like terribly afraid it's going to go away. So this is, I have a bunch of other oils that I use, but this is, I look to use this. I reach for this often, or the version of this that I've made. Now I want to talk about the herbs. So, what kind of herbs do I use most likely, most often? This is just about gone. I have more somewhere, but rose petals. It's a few at the bottom here. But red rose petals. I use this in almost everything. I've realized I use rose petals. And if you have any of my books of shadows, I use rose petals often, especially in the Love Witch one. Um, Rose love, obviously, but love is the umbrella term, self love, love attraction, um, you know, uh, just love. I think love is powerful. I don't see love as a byproduct. I don't think that like it's optional. Love is strong. I always say, imagine what you do for love. What won't you do for love? I sound like Jillian. What I wouldn't do for love. But no, seriously, love is like the love. It's my children. I'd kill all of you for my kids if I had to. Just to be clear, I'd kill everybody. I'd set the world ablaze for the love of my kids. May that never happen, and I'd be tested. But you get my point. Love is very powerful. So red rose petals are common in most of, and this is everything from herbal blends that are turned into potions that are to be burned, homemade incense, um, for dressing candles, all of that. You said I use the whole rose, petals, stems, leaves, thorns. Oh, I love that. Thorns. Oh, you could have a time with that. Oh, that would be good. I like you. I like that. Um, Another frequently used, lavender. Now, this one is full. I have a couple of these. I keep a lot on stock. Plus, I have some in my apothecary cabinet in the kitchen. But this is like on hand. I keep these pouches in this room so it's easy to get to. Lavender. I use lavender a bunch of ways. When I think of wanting peace, which I always do, lavender. This lavender comes up in my cottage witchery practice more often than not. I even bought from a farmer's market a lavender powder. It's just crushed. I could have did it myself, but I was supporting local. And but yeah, I have that, and it's edible. I could add it to foods and stuff like that. But peace is the number one thing like in my home. Also, if I'm doing a simmer pot or even just a little small version of it where you put the tea light under it and you burn the little oils on top, I like using lavender for that. I stay strapped with lavender. That's what I'm talking about. I love using lavender. I also use lavender in my protection work. Now, I know some people feel differently about that, but I figure peace and protection goes hand in hand, right? they How can I feel at peace if I don't feel protected? So they coincide, and I've been working with lavender for years. Peace and dreams, yes, it's one of my favorite ones, herbs to use outside of rosemary. But I haven't really been using rosemary very often. So I don't even have it up here because I just haven't. I haven't. But lavender is my go to. Lavender and red rose petals are my go to. And of course, me being me, mugwort. And this, I have a gigantic bag of this. This is just what I'm showing you here. Mugwort. So let's get into the mugwort. Mugwort, I like using it for powerful visions, for dream work. Yes, you're here. Hi. It's hey, Randall. But mugwort is my jam. Mugwort for psychic connection, for working with spirits. And when I say that, sometimes as a tea, it is bitter as all get out. I have tried making it less bitter, adding more honey, sugar, something like that. It's just going to be nasty. I'm just going to tell you that right now. It's not the best tasting tea, but you drink it like a medicine. The other thing is I like to burn it, and I can have the same effects from if I consumed it as a tea that I can if it's burnt. I don't smoke. I don't know how to smoke anything. I'm, a bit of a cornball in that way. I've never learned how to smoke, but I just, I'll burn it, and then the smoke itself, I'll, just breathe that in. I also use it for protection as part of my first of the month protection wart powder. Ooh, along with eggshells and things. I love that. Uh, I wanted to explore mugwort ward. You should. You really should. I'm sorry, I'm getting 50,000 things, notifications over here. Forgive me. I'm getting spam. That's why it's lighting up like that. Sorry. Anyway, but yeah, um, astral travel, anything like that, mugwort is going to be my favorite thing. Um, Before I go anymore, because I had one of the things I wanted to talk about is how do you charge or store it, depending on like the oil or the herb. So I want to go back for a second with the Hecate oil. I just keep it right there on my oils, my shelf with all my oils, which there's a window, if you can see from the sunlight, there's a window right here, and this is on the wall with the window. So I keep it dark because there's no light right here. So I keep it out of the sunlight, is my point. My herbs I keep in a drawer. I have a drawer in this room, off to the side here, and I keep all my, like the ones in these little baggies, I keep them out, basically out of the sun in a cool, dry place, as they tell you. Um, so that's how I keep it. All these things, keep your herbs and your oils out of the sun. Have you ever noticed when you see, like, if you're on Pinterest, or sometimes, like, I've seen it in some movies where um, someone will be showing all their oils and stuff like that in like the equivalent of a solarium or something like that. So it's a lot of glass, and you see shelves and bottles of oils, and the sun's coming through, and that's great for media. But in real life, you wouldn't want the sun unless you're intentionally charging it. But you wouldn't want that every day to be stored that way. You want to keep them, even though it looks pretty to be out like that, you want to keep it in a dark space. Just a heads up about that. Um, but mugwort is definitely something that is in my practice very often. These are my top three: red rose petals, lavender, and mugwort. I can do a lot with that. Honorable mentions: jasmine. I have jasmine tea. I'm just showing you this little bottle. So if you want, this is dried jasmine right here. It is something that I like to use when I'm boosting, especially if I'm working with lavender or working with the red rose petals for peace, manifestation, all that sort of stuff. I use it that way. It has proven effective in my practice. I like to also use it in some of my offerings. Sometimes I make herbal blends and I use that as an offering. Especially like to Aphrodite. Like I like to use, especially with a lot of red rose, and I'll sprinkle more rose petals on top, but like jasmine and things like that. But yeah, I give that to Aphrodite, and sometimes with Hecate I'll make a blend. But yeah, jasmine is usually my go-to thing, and I burn it as well. And I like to drink the tea, the jasmine flower tea. The other thing is tea. I didn't feel like bringing all of the herbs out here. You said, oh, the smell of jasmine is beautiful, right? Um, the thing I will tell you is that my tea game is up. Hibiscus tea, which I don't have it out here, but it's red. You guys know what hibiscus tea looks like. So hibiscus tea is the other one. I just didn't want to have to put all that stuff back. Uh, that has become my favorite tea. It's fruity. It's tart. Think something almost like cranberry, almost, because of the tartness. I like to add sometimes cinnamon to it because it has that flavor. I don't know, cinnamon and hibiscus goes together to me. Sometimes I hit it with just a little bit of vanilla, sometimes vanilla extract, and I have some vanilla beans, so I'll just put a little bit on there sometimes. Other times I just drink it straight with honey. Um, I try to drink hibiscus tea every day. I'm back to my coffee because I like the caffeine. So just a small cup, like an 8-ounce cup, and then I drink my teas for the rest of the day. Also, it's good for your blood pressure. It's good for the heart. So I use it metaphysically speaking for all things heart matters. So like love and self-love, and for confidence, and for helping with like anxiety and all that sort of stuff. But medicinally, it's great for the heart. And I listen, don't I have been drinking it consistently for some time now, more than a year. Once I found out it's good for lowering your blood pressure, and outside of many other things, I don't eat meat anymore. I stopped eating meat June of last year, officially just stopped. Um, but yeah, I made a lot of dietary changes and lifestyle changes in addition to the hibiscus tea, and I have lowered my blood pressure. Like, it's not spiking. I'm not going through that anymore, and I'm not currently on any medication. So there's that. So just it's this witch thing goes deep. It's not just about um yeah, it's the whole thing: body, mind, soul, for me. Or spirit. He said I would say regular, use it for most things. Dream team is cinnamon, ooh, clove, citrus, blood orange specifically. Ooh, I like that. And then you said cinnamon, clove, rose, red pepper, lavender. Okay, yeah. Red pepper. Okay, I didn't even get into that. I kind of hinted at cinnamon. Cinnamon is near and dear to me also. Cinnamon, which is great in like your money spells, prosperity, wealth, work, stuff like that. Especially if you kind of wanted to go fast. We all heard people, they talk about like on TikTok, oh, you blow cinnamon in the doorway and all that sort of stuff. Um, I don't do that, by the way, but that, to each their own. That's not my thing. I have a whole money altar. So what I have on my money altar of many things, I have saffron, which is expensive. And I have a cinnamon stick. I have a rice, which represents abundance. I have coins. I have um, like the money that it looks real though. So I have a lot of that on there, like chocolates, the gold coins. I have an abundance basket. It's a larger thing. The table it sits on was actually a gift to me, and it was made with coins. So it would have been a picture, but the frame was just incredibly heavy. So I just turned it into a tabletop, and it has my initials, so it's personalized for me. So I have a whole money altar that I use. And the thing about having a money, and it's in the main part of the home, in the center of the home. The thing about having a money altar is you have to remember that you have the money altar, and occasionally go over and refresh it. Yes, it's always in my food. Just had some on pizza. Got you. Red pepper flake. Oh yes. Cinnamon, red pepper flakes, cayenne pepper, allspice actually. What's the star one? Star anise, all that. I love using those in my money work. Anything money related. Those are my top favorite things to use, by the way. Um, I'm not always doing money work, so I don't always, but I have all those on deck. Like I keep some of the star anise. I keep cinnamon. Definitely keep cayenne pepper and red pepper flakes. And I keep a large amount because I like spicy food, so I'm always gonna have it. But yeah, I like to keep that on deck at all times for money work specifically. Uh, my other suggestion, based off of my practice as far as herbs and oils, make your own anointing oil. I do have it. It's back here. I realize now I didn't grab it. I'm looking around like, what else did I forget? Make your own like I love my Hecate oil and I use this a lot. But make your own anointing oil, just like you bless it, consecrate it, make your own. And just think about if you were making an anointing oil, what would be in it? So this is going to be your baseline oil that you use to anoint whatever for whatever purpose. So what kind of oil do you want to use as a base? Um, I personally, some olive oil is the most easily accessible one. I personally think olive oil can go rancid. Um, I'm glad you made it, Christopher John. I'm glad you made it. Thank you. But olive oil can go rancid, in my opinion. And I've kept this oil for more than it's been at least 2 years. So what I would say is avocado oil holds up better. Some people use coconut oil or jojoba oil. Now, when you start getting into these, it gets a little bit more pricier. It just depends. I keep a few of my oils in roller bottles in my purse. Yes. Also, another good solution. I put it back to the beginning. Don't want to miss anything. Okay. Well, I've been going about 21 minutes. You're fine. Um, but yeah, uh, your base. Start with your base. You got to think about now. If you're going to use it up really quickly, that's fine. Also, if you don't know how you're going to use it, you're just hearing me say this, and you said, you know what, I should probably start that. Maybe this is as big as you want to go. Maybe go a little bit smaller. Yeah, roller bottle. Yeah, go a little bit smaller because you don't know. You can always make more. You can always do more. I suggest something smaller, uh, figure out your base oil, and then you can build from there on your herbs. So if you're think about what you'll be using it for almost any and everything to dress all your candles. You can add additional oils and other herbs on top of it. But some of the things you might care about is your lavender. You might think about, okay, well, I'm gonna add a little bit of lavender. Maybe that's where you want to add a little bit of rosemary. I would add I'm telling you me because this is pretty much what I got. Rose petals because I'm covering the full gambit here. I'm gonna add a little bit of cinnamon to it. Um, Honestly, I could just work just with that right there. And I'm gonna be looking for crystals, small crystals. You know those chip crystals. So tiger's eye, amethyst, and probably clear quartz or something like that, maybe moonstone, little chips. That covers everything for me. I charge some olive oil and avocado oil in the total eclipse. Ooh, oh, that's gonna be good. I prefer avocado oil. Like I said, it's a little bit pricey, but sometimes what you put into it is what you get out of it. And that's all I'm saying on that. I'm not judging anybody. Maybe you can't have that right away. Maybe you got to work your way up to it if you think that's too much, or just use a small amount. You don't have to use a lot. Um, Whether or not you're going to keep all those herbs and oils, I keep them. I don't strain it. Some people strain it and then they add just the decorative rose petals or something, a flower in it. I don't strain it. I keep it in there. So, you know, to each their own on that. The other thing I just want to point out, and I did pull this out, it's not that I like to use this particular one, Don't Forget Me Nots. That's what this is. Sometimes I like to use dried flowers for their color. So this is where I sometimes like to use, yeah, like if I'm color magic. So, you know, if let me think. So with this one, psychic ability, well, don't forget me not, psychic type things, spirit work, all that sort of stuff. Purples and blues in my mind, those fit that. Mint. Ooh, yeah. Mint would be the other one that I like to use. I don't use mint as often. I drink mint tea, so I guess so. Let me backtrack. I do, but I don't use it like outside of drinking it. I realize that now, and I love peppermint. I love peppermint tea, but I realize I don't use a lot of mint, and maybe I need to rectify that. Maybe I need to look into working more with mint candles. Okay, boom, boom, that boom. So let's talk tea light. Tea light candles are probably my go-to. I use them when within my coven. I use them home at home. I use them decoratively, like just for the ambiance effect. I use them in my spell work. Tea light candles are so easy. One, you can get them at the Dollar Tree, you can get them at Walmart, you can get them at IKEA. I prefer IKEA tea light candles. They're superior over everybody's, but that's another conversation. Anyway, tea light candles are my favorite to work with. They're easily accessible. You can dress a tea light very easily. You can put crushed herbs, little um, crystal chips. You can put oils. You can do all that to a tea light candle, and you can visibly see it. You can make it gorgeous, and you can use as many as you want. I love tea light candles. What are you saying? I use mint for my prosperity workings because it's so prolific. I agree with that. Oregano, honorable mention. Oregano is also good. And if you don't have it, you probably have Italian seasoning. That'll do it. I also have some oil I charged on the planetary alignment that I've been hoarding. I want to use it for anointing oil. Okay, that's a whole other conversation. Why do we hoard our oils? Because I end up making oils that I don't use enough because I just kind of talked about it with this one. Like I don't know why am I we got to get over our lack mentality. See how it shows up, we're like hoarding it, we're like afraid to use it or something. I don't know what that's about. Mint and chamomile have big manifester for me. Okay. uh it is, yeah. Mint and chamomile is great for chamomile is good for just calming. If you know that, like, it's in sleepy time tea. um but I'm so scared to run out. I know that feeling. When you're combining oils, you know how I was like with the lavender, and I think it has two different, like, it's peace and protection, they go together, so that's why I use it. But you could also think of it like when you said the chamomile and the mint. So I want to do prosperity work and I have mint. And that's perfect. We all agree mint is great for that. The green herbs are good, right? Um, I don't want to hustle for it. So my intention is I want prosperity. I want wealth. I want money to come to me. I don't want to hustle. I want it to come to me with ease. Wouldn't a great herb to use in combination within that working would be chamomile, because chamomile represents ease, it calm. We're not hustling, we're not here, grinding for it. Everybody doesn't want to grind, they just want to live. Some people want that. Some of us just want to, have a calm, peaceful life, and the money still flows in some way, and we're just opening up to the universe for allow those opportunities. So um, mint and chamomile is great for that. So if you're wondering, well, how do I even combine all this? That's how. That's how. For luck and surprise. Yes, yes. Also for that. But I like to think of it in that way too. So tea light candle, top tier, number one witchy tool. Especially if you want to see the candle burn out, like you need that can. Also, I can walk away from tea light candles. They don't. Just be careful what you're sitting it on because it can get hot underneath, so you can like mess up a table. But as long as you put it on something that can handle the heat, like a plate or whatever, you're fine. They don't typically, you know, come out. Now, if you're putting a bunch of oil and herbs on here, you're going to create more of a flame. So just, be mindful, don't do too much or do as much as you want. Just watch it. But what I do want to say is that you can, I leave them burning. I leave them burning. As long as I'm not adding too much stuff, I like to let them burn out. And if you're doing a spell and it's important that it burns out, this makes a lot of sense. Um, Chime. So I bought these recently. These are black, but these are chime candles. My number one candle are chime candles. To this day, I love a good chime candle. Now I needed black because I like to just burn these. Also, same deal. If you want it to burn out completely, you want part of the spell or ritual, whatever you're doing, you need to see that candle burn. This is perfect. Yeah, they're an art, yeah, definitely. But a chime candle, listen, I sometimes I'm doing workings. I need to see that candle burn down. It's part of it. I want to sit there until it burns. Some of us are chanting, some of us are doing visual work, or I'm journaling. Um, I'm doing all that, but a chime candle gets me there because it's gonna burn down. And typically, there's no drip. Usually, sometimes it just melts down and can make a mess. So be mindful of that. You can fix that by keeping some aluminum foil underneath your little holder, and that way it catches whatever went over. The more oils and herbs that I use to dress it, it gets messier. But sometimes I like a little mess. Chime candles are my number one thing. No, I use chime candles almost if I'm doing something and I'm doing candles, is going to be a chime. Yeah, almost always tea lights and chime candles for sure. And they're so easy to get a hold of, and there's so many different color combinations, so it works for me. Um, the next up are these candles. So let's get into these candles. The what we call the 7-day candles or big glass jar candles. So this one is the Dollar Tree one. You can, if you've been a Dollar Tree, you probably recognize this. My issue, although I use them, I find they smell like gas when you burn them, like some sort of accelerator. Am I tripping? Like, is it just me? You don't smell anything until you burn it. So what I've been doing is I'll like make, you punch holes in it and I'll add my oils that usually have a scent or something like that to count. But I was going to dress it anyway. But um, yeah, that's my issue with the Dollar Tree. And it didn't always used to be like this. I just want to take this plastic off. I don't like that smell. And is it just me? Am I the only one noticing this? I don't put the candles on the altar. I put them where I can be comfortable. Yeah. I don't know what the deal is with this. And it smells bad. And it's all the candles, not just a specific color or anything like that. But I have these on deck and I'm going to use them. I just make sure it's in an airy space so I'm not breathing in issues or stuff like that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep buying. This will probably be my last from the Dollar Tree because I've been noticing that smell. This one is actually from Spirit Halloween. And I bought a bunch of them and I've kept them and I use them accordingly. At the time, it was a good deal because this is like, it was regular price $10. Probably this year it'll probably be like 15 because, inflation, fake inflation. But anyway, these actually are my favorite. They don't have a funny smell or anything when you actually burn them. I've had several already that I use. This is one I plan on using soon, actually. But this one, it's just white, but I like it because of the glass. And I don't think I'll get rid of it. Like once I burn this, I'm gonna keep this jar and I'm gonna probably try to make my own and or something and getting some candle making because I love the jar. But this is actually one of my favorites. So I found out that the candles from Walmart don't smell funny to me. Is this just me with the smell? Because I'm really sensitive, but with the nose thing, I could do Walmart. I don't know if I can keep doing a Dollar Tree. And also, they're pretty much the same price because they went up in price. I think they're not $1.25 anymore. I thought they were a little bit like 175 at the Dollar Tree. So I can just go to Walmart. You never notice? Yeah, it's got like it smells like engine oil or something like that. Is that the petroleum I'm smelling? I don't know. It smells like, I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe I'm very sensitive with that smell. I don't know, guys, but it makes me a little on edge about what I'm breathing in. So I have a bunch. I'm gonna use them because I'm not gonna waste my little $1.25 because it was 125 when I still bought it. I'm gonna use them, uh, but I am more open to shopping elsewhere going forward. But I use these often for bigger work. I like to use these for instance, I have a full moon candle. and it's in a glass jar like this. So something like this, but it's I did it in white. So my plan is to light it every full moon. So I'm using it over time. I have one right now behind me. I have a full moon candle. I'll put the label on there and everything, letting me know. So that's how I use these for like long standing work. If I am doing something, especially if I'm like sending energy and it's ongoing because the issue is ongoing. Prime example, during the presidential election. So for the candidate that I was behind, I had a candle that I was working and consistently lighting at a certain point for their, to help them along the way and also for their protection. Uh, yeah, I love the idea of dedicated 7 day candles for lunar work. Oh gosh, yes, I love using it for that purpose. And you just and that's where you can, it's you're gonna like put a label on it, make a like Canva is great for that, or anything like that, or Adobe. Which one do I have? I don't know. I got all these different things. Anyway, but you get what I'm saying. You can make something pretty. And you make it like because you're gonna have it for a while. It's gonna take time to burn down, unless you're leaving it burning all night. But even still, you're gonna be able to keep it for a while. Mine is it's good. I can keep it going for a while now. It's been months. But yeah, for dedicated work, I like to use it for the big stuff. The big stuff where it's a lot of energy that you're working. The big ones, like, a big move, or like I said, things that you have to keep aligning with, keep giving energy to. Maybe not the one and done's. There's a lot of moving parts. I like to use these types of candles for that type of work too. Okay, on to the next. Okay, tarot decks. Let me pull out my tarot deck. That is my all time favorite. I'm going to get to some other stuff in a minute. We're doing tools now. These are my favorite tarot cards. I keep saying I'm going to get away from them. These are my favorite tarot cards. These are the Everyday Witch Tarot. I have the book, so I didn't feel like the box is behind me on the shelf. But here is the book by Deborah Blake, Everyday Witch. By far one of my favorite decks. Why? I don't know. I love Deborah. I love Deborah Blake, and she was there in the beginning of my journey. So these are my cards. You can see they're well worn. Look, and loved. Ooh, the devil. I love her devil. I love the devil card here. Tell me this is it. Come on, look at this. I love this. I love her cards. I love her temperance. Like the imagery is like, come on. If you don't know anything, oh, it's about balance, right? Strength. She's given. They're all witches. The Four of Wands. So if you're curious about her cards, the Hangman. So she's inclusive, is male, female, not so much of the well, I don't know. She's darker, Seven of Pentacles. I wouldn't say she's a person of color per se. She's just maybe she's tan. I don't know. But anyway, um, I have other cards that I love. These are my go-to cards. I use these in my practice. If you've ever gotten a reading from me, I'm almost always use these in combination with other cards. I use multiple cards when I'm working with people. My favorite tarot deck is the Crystal Tarot. I've been obsessed with it since I got it decades ago. How long has this been? I don't even know. Let me look. Because this should have a copyright date, hopefully, in the book, maybe. I don't know. Do they put copyright dates in these? Yes, they do. 2017. So that's how long it's been. And I love these cards. These are my favorites. Before then, I used to use the Spellcasters deck. That was my favorite deck for a very long time. But these are my go-to cards that I use for myself almost always. Now, another deck, Oracle. I didn't grab them. Pause. Let me go behind me. Where is it? It's fun having a chair that can roll. Not specifically this deck. I'm not going to go look for the other one, but the Seasons of the Witch Oracle. I use these seasonally. These are my favorite cards. The whole deck. When I need some clarity, I grab my Celestial Tarot deck, but I have to prepare myself to get dragged. Don't even get me started. I have a. Do you? Okay, who has a deck? Do you have cards that you feel they drag you? Like they give you the truth, whether you wanted that level of truth, and they do not hold your hand. Tarot, which I love arguing. Yes. Um, yeah. I have a deck. They're mermaid cards, and I feel like it's always like it like hurt my feelings a little bit, but the message had to be given. But the Seasons of the Witch, the whole line, I'm in for it. I use these, and I use them in conjunction with, like, what season we're in. So yeah, these are my favorite cards to use. These are my favorite Oracle deck, I should say, to use. If you were curious, so this is by Lorraine Anderson and Juliet Diaz. I love them, by the way. These are what the cards look like. They're beautiful, shiny, and pretty. They're really nice. This is what the back looks like. And they have, look at that, the purple. The other cards have different color combinations, but these are just beautiful cards. Um, like, look at the roses card. Try not to get the glare. It's so pretty. And yeah, you have brown people too. So they're beautiful cards. I like the book that comes with it, and with these oracle cards, sometimes you can look and you can get what you know need from the bottom, like scavenger hunt, and it says what you thought was hidden is hiding in plain sight, and I can intuit from there. And other times you might want to look at the book because they give really deeper meanings on the point of the card, like messages and meanings and all that. Beautiful book. I like the cards. The more you use them and the more you study it, you can get more off of it. That's my experience, but they are my favorites. These are my favorites. Oracle wise, I have a bunch of cards, but Seasons of the Witch are my favorite, and Everyday Tarot. They're my go to. I use these. Um, well, I definitely use this whether I'm talking to Hecate, Aphrodite, Oshun. I might use some of the other. I have Oshun Oracle decks, but realistically, I use these for everything. Recently, I've been using my Golden Botticelli Tarot. Ooh, for prosperity, abundance work. The gliding on the cards is gorgeous. The gilding, sorry. I love the spreads of. Oh, their spreads are like in the book that you get. With they have spreads and beautiful. Also, the thing I like about this particular, the whole series, because I don't just, I think I own them all now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I own them all. Or maybe there's something else coming out. I think I don't know. I have Yule, Samhain. I don't know the other Beltane, all the other ones. But in the book, and also they give you you always, I don't know if they still do, but they did when I bought these rock pool. They you can get like supplementary stuff. Download your free sample purchases, play with our amazing decks. Anyway, they come with this, and if you use this, you could. And one deck, the it was a QR code at one point. It stopped working, and I was able to email them because I bought it and I wanted to get the additional spreads and the booklet and all the other stuff that it comes with, the downloads. And they emailed me back and they gave me a link. So I also like the company. They actually responded to me. But I love those decks, and they are super helpful with me for my own readings or when I'm working with other people. But realistically, I use these for myself as well. These are my favorite cards ever. Maybe one day it'll change. Maybe one day, and I keep saying, "Oh, I like." Followed very closely by this one. This one is taking my heart. Cozy Witch Tarot deck. This is also one of my favorites. I keep it nearby, but these are my go-to. you're not familiar with Season of the Witch, but I definitely want to check it out. Now, yeah, I'm just showing these. This is Letha Oracle. They're deep and beautiful. I love the. I love them. I love them, and I love the people who created them. I like their other work as well, so it makes sense. It makes sense. So yeah, that's tarot. Now I use a lot of different cards, but I'm talking about like my most used, my go-to. That's what I'm talking about. I use a lot of cards. For my monthly moon readings over on leaptaken.com, I change it up monthly. So I'm using a lot of different decks. I use a combination of tarot and oracle. So if you subscribe, you'll know that I don't use the same thing all the time to deliver those readings, but these are my favorites. Okay, so now I want to get into some lesser known items I often use that I'm not saying other people don't use them, but just some people might not see it that way. So this is where it gets even more interesting. Okay. And I know people use cauldrons, but this is my cauldron. This is my cauldron. This and she's heavy. Do I have stuff in here? Yeah. I had it's like I had a tea light candle in here burning. I left it in here. But this is my baby. So she has the symbols on the front, nothing on the back, but she's heavy. She's got some weight to her. She's strong and she can handle a fire. She can definitely handle a fire. But yeah, my cauldron. This is my one of my most used items. I see I got some candle wax on here. But yeah, she is loved and used often, and I see the cauldron as a vessel symbol similar to the womb. So it's, in darkness, things can be created. It can be, I can birth, manifest things through here. And I kind of think like, what is on me when I burn it? Oh, that was the candle wax. It fell off my hand, and a gnat is attacking me at the same time. Anyway, but yeah, I love working with a cauldron. I remember wanting to have one for the longest time, and I wanted a big one. And this is as big as I have right now. I'm actually going to invest in buying. I think it's Wayfair sells them, and there's another company, the kind you can actually put on your stovetop. It's a big one. I feel like a cauldron shaped crock pot is such a logical thing, and why that hasn't been created yet is making me a little crazy. I would love to have a cauldron shaped crock pot. That would change my life. It would change everything I know to be true. You want to talk about timeline shifts? That would flip my timeline if I could have that. But in the meantime, I before the end of the year, I'm going to get that. I put it out there, and I say that because I put it out there for others that know me to buy that as a gift for me. If it doesn't come through, I'm buying it for myself. I'm going to get it for myself. You wanted a cooking cauldron for a while now. Yeah, I know Wayfair has it. And I see them like between Instagram and TikTok. I've seen people use it, and they're cooking food, like they're actually making regular meals in it. And I want one as well. But in the meantime, this is my big girl. This is my big girl for now. And I love using her for this purpose. I mostly burn things. Sometimes I'll burn herbs, petitions, all that sort of stuff. Like release things, I'll write something down. I burn it in this cauldron. Um, Sometimes I'll have a bed of herbs, and I'll have a tea light candle in there. And the whole point, like I'll add more herbs and oils and stuff like that. So it's gonna get like a large flame. So I'll put it in here for that purpose. Kitchen witchery for sure. Yes, I can flex my extra witchiness. I have a cast iron frying pan that I use, but I mean that's not the same. Although I do enjoy using that one. For us low iron people, we need to be using more cast iron. Okay, so I have this and the other thing. which is from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to be using this as something, but mirrors. Mirrors are a big part of my practice. I use mirrors. Now, let me tell you with this one, it would go like this. The reason I got this one is because I plan on doing this. And the mirror just reflects the energy that I'm doing. So if I'm doing a certain spell work, I like you. Was perfect. I actually went shopping for this. But yeah, I like using it like that and having the mirror as a reflection. Also, I like doing mirror work as well. So glamour magic for sure. Protection work, mirrors are good for that, by the way. If you want to send back some energy, amplifies exactly. Um, I like using mirrors in my work. So mirrors are a thing. Use mirrors. You'd be surprised. It's an effective tool. Um, you can use it. I mean, right, I'm talking candles, like you can your herbs, all that sort of stuff. Like, I don't know, you can go crazy with mirrors. I needed to get over my fear of mirrors. I blame liking horror movies. I can understand that. Let me tell you another thing that if you have some issues with the mirror, not because you think something's going to come get you, but like some people, and I can relate to this. Um, One time I got really one time I did a lot of edibles. I did a lot, maybe a little more than I was understood was necessary at the time. And I saw a picture of myself and I had a weird thing with that, coupled by I like, I had to go to the bathroom. So then I went to wash my hands and the mirror's right there. And I saw myself and I just had it just freaked me out in that moment looking at myself because I was convinced for a brief second the mirror me was not really me. And it messed with my head a little bit. So I can get the mirror thing because I had that experience. When I was a kid, I'd put a mirror in the floor to open a portal to another world. Ooh, that's also, I like using mirrors for portal magic. So once I came down, I was no longer afraid of the mirror. So if gratefully for me, it was just a really crazy experience. I should probably mention, I wasn't somebody who like, I didn't do any edibles or anything like that until like my 40s. So this has been a fun experience. I'm making up for lost time. Anyway, but yeah, mirrors are really good for that. I mean, as long as you don't get freaked out, mirrors are good. And if you are freaked out, start off maybe with something not quite like this. Start off with something reflective, but maybe not a mirror, and maybe you can still, get the same benefits from it. Maybe not an actual mirror. Portal magic is mirrors are perfect choice for portal work. The other thing that I like to use are baggies. So I just wanted to grab this one. This one has a crystal in it. But I like to use different baggies for spells. You put crystals, herbs, all that sort of stuff. I'm just calling it baggies. Call it what you want. I killed 2 gnats today. What is happening? Anyway, yeah, I love this. I love using these, and you can use them for different colors, for different purposes. You can use them, the mesh kind that a lot of us get when we get crystals or like through those subscription boxes and stuff like that. You can use those black, those come in different colors. Those are really good. Um, if you want to do like a herbal blend and keep it under your pillow for your dream work, we talked about mugwort and all that sort of stuff, and lavender, chamomile, great for that purpose too. I like working in front of a mirror to see me casting a spell. Ooh, that is powerful too. To see, yes, that's a powerful way to do it. And that also is amplifying. But yeah, I like using these. These are one of my favorite things. I use these more than I probably would use a jar for jar spells, although I like them, but this is more common. Yeah, especially when I want something to feed content. Exactly, when you keep feeding it. This is good for keeping in your purse, keeping in your bag, your backpack, or whatever. Um, Especially like protection and money, wealth, attraction spells. You're out and about in the world. You're trying to attract a certain energy. I'm not necessarily a man or woman. Maybe you're trying to attract a certain energy. You know what I mean? This is good. This is also good for, I mean, anything you can think of, you can use this for it. Um, I like to, you can keep them around your home. You can set up wards and protection and bury these around your property. There's so many different ways you can use these. That's why I love them so much. But yeah, I like these little baggies. Speaking of kind of in the vein of container work, now, not this specific box. I got this in a subscription, but it's just for demonstration purposes. I'm not going to show you the real ones because they're being used. But I will use a wooden box, cardboard boxes, all of that in container work. So this one is, like I said, this came with this stuff in it. I got this in a subscription box, which now I'm looking at it. Oh, okay. Anyway, but yeah, I like using boxes for container spells. When I do not magic, I like to take the knot and keep it in the box. Depending on what it is, sometimes I burn it. But I will keep it in a box. Coffin boxes also, yes. I will keep it in a box. I like using boxes in my practice. Love magic, especially spells that I've worked for other people. I like to seal it, and then I seal the box, which ties into my next thing. I like to use wax melts and the stamp for the wax. Yeah, I'm sure there's a proper term for this. I'm calling them wax. What do you call it? A stamp, right? Yeah. Wax stamps. Y'all know what I'm saying. Why am I struggling with, right? What? You know what it is. I have two of them. Anyway, so this was like the evil eye. I have another one for love. So I will use this one, um, if you could see it. I use this one for protection work, basically anything I want, and the other one for love and stuff like that. But I like, let's say I was using this and I had a bunch of stuff in here and I'm sealing it, I would just like, put the wax here and I would, seal it. So I do it like that. I have found this to be so effective. I have been doing this for years. I have used this. These are for like my people in my family and close friends. I don't do spell work for other people like that. I would not want to be putting my energy into somebody I don't know. A spell as powerful as this, where I'm like sealing it, because I'm going by what you tell me. I don't know that to be true. And that makes me a little uncomfortable. So I don't want to do that. But for those who know me, in my inner circle, so to speak, yeah, they can get this, and I don't do it all. Most people aren't asking. Well, I mean, I'm up in age. Most people I know they're settled where they're going to be. But for those who need that little help, yeah, I like using boxes when I want to seal it, and I love using the stamp to seal it. Boxes are a must for long term work. Yes, to kind of keep my anxiety and my impatience from making things go wonky, sort of set it and forget it. Exactly. That's why, like, bringing people together or keeping something apart. I'm just saying, you can use two boxes and separate. Now, I know some people do freezer spells and all that. I never was a freezer spell type. I can talk about it. I've tried it. I'm not against it. I like a box. And a coffin box, sunflower and thistle, can really take something. If I want to be done, it's dead, buried, you're going in a coffin box. Yeah. But if you want to be done with debt, if you want to be done with medical issues and stuff like that, a coffin box is good for that. Just saying. Or take it and bury it in the graveyard, or you can get the dirt from the graveyard and put it in the box. Listen, we getting into some stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking. You see, you can go. We talked about the bag and the box. I'm taking a step further, and I'm a spells on spells on spells kind of witch. So we're gonna have a candle. We got the cauldron going. We're gonna have a chop. Honestly, I'll have multiple candles going for different purposes because I'm working different angles, depending on what it is. If I'm trying to put something together or if I'm trying to take it apart. Moving on. Bottles. Oop, notifications going wild. Bottles. Bottles are the other thing that I enjoy using. This is a Dollar Tree purchase. This is a empty one right now. I love these freaking bottles. I love this kind. I don't know if they still sell them, but the stopper works pretty good. So I can, it's not like slipping out. You can mix stuff up. These are my favorite. I love these. They had them like in different colors. They were like yellow, they have pink. I think there was like a bluish purple or something like that. But bottles in general, I just want to use this one because it's pretty. But these are great. This is great. I keep this over on my Aphrodite altar because I plan on making having rose water in this. I just haven't gotten to it yet. But yeah, moon water also. But I love using these. These are pretty. A pretty bottle, I'm buying it. I'm getting it. Dollar Tree included. I'm getting it. But I like using them for, like you said, for moon water. I like using them for my oils, sometimes like a large batch. I like using them for um herbed infused water or cologne, I guess, Florida water, stuff like that. Yeah, I like using them for this purpose. So potions, liquids, magical potions. I like using those for these purposes. And then, of course, shameless plug. My number one tool is going to be my books of shadow. Now, if you've watched me for some time, I would show my books of shadows. My homemade ones, I like took a sketchbook and I, converted it into my grimoire, magical grimoire. I have books that were printed books, and I pasted like paper over it, and I've converted those. All kinds of things. I've done that with a lot of different books. I took a children's book and turned that into my book of shadows. But now, not but, and I still have those, by the way, and I still reference those. But I also have these, which I sell. Um, the one that I'm probably using most, because this is my practice, is the Book of Shadows for the Hearth Witch. So I have my notes, my spells, my things in here, and the things that I work that are in my practice, I've added pages for that. So this is actually mine that I use for myself, and like a sigil that I created and all that sort of stuff and printed out, and recipes and all that sort of stuff, in addition to the things that are printed in the book. So if you don't know anything about this, I sell these. These are available on the TikTok shop, Amazon, and at my website, leaptaken.com. Everything's in the description. Um, the front part of the book is going to be text, and the rest are blank pages for you to continue your magical journey. This is the Book of Shadows for the Hearth Witch. I call myself a cottage witch, interchangeably Hearth Witch. So there's information to sort of get you started on your journey. And then the rest are the blank pages. So I got someone to add it to her cart today. Yes, thank you. But this is my main one because it's part of my practice. However, because none of us are one trick ponies or one trick witches. These are a big part of my practice as well. The Hoodoo Grimoire, I use this as well. So this is my personal copy as I knock stuff over. So I have things in here that I've created as well. Pages in here and things like that. So yeah. And then this also has information in the beginning as well of the book, as well. And then because I'm very much a love witch myself, and I practice glamour magic and love witchery, which again are powerful. We have this one. She's laminy, so she's going to have a bit of a shy, but same deal here. So we have a lot of front-facing information with her because we're basically talking about glamour and love witch, but I combine them into one book, so you get that front-facing information. So she's a little bit thicker than the other books, but I have all types of things in here. This is my copy and I use it accordingly. So I have all kind, like I said, I use her a lot, as well. So These are my tools also. She really likes the idea of modern hoodoo. Yes, modern hoodoo. To I'm listen. my That's my term I use for the hoodoo grimoire. And the book talks about modern hoodoo, and the whole point is you're not going to find any connection to the Christian Bible. I believe, and there are many others like myself, believe that hoodoo can be practiced, and there's an evolving, and it's okay if you don't agree. Hoodoo can be practiced without the Christian element. Full stop. So, yeah. um, yeah. So now I'm going to switch gears and we're going to talk about a little reflection time, some witchy reflection on the lessons I've learned after I've been practicing for some time, and I'm going to call this some witchy wisdom that I wish I might have had earlier. So you don't need all the things to do real magic. This was the thing I coveted in the beginning of my practice many moons ago. I thought this would be the thing. I don't know why. It's for some. There's something that a lot of us get like if that in like an practical magic style book of shadows, the book. Between those two, I was kind of like thinking if I had something like that that would validate me. I didn't say that in my head, but low key, I'm summarizing that's kind of what I thought. Um, Tools are great as I talk about all the tools that I use. If you notice what I'm using, it's not, not too crazy, but uh, tools are wonderful. Tools can help focus you um, and add energy, right? Um, but they're not the end all to be all. And most of the magic starts up here, here, and here. You thought you needed everything. Yeah, I thought I needed all the things. And I thought I needed crazy amounts of herbs as well. And when it's all said and done, I'm down to like four or five things that I use pretty consistently, really three. So that tells you a lot. But my thing I would suggest find your favorite herb and then add two more. Keep a rotating of three. Boom, you're in there. You're in there. Just find your three. And one can be salt. I'm not mad at you if it's salt. But the cauldron, yeah, the cauldron was a big deal for me. But you really don't need first of all, you don't need all the things to do real magic. Um, One of the things that you have to remember, if we're going to talk like elemental magic and work with the elements, your voice is air, and um, you can do a lot with just what you speak out loud to others, and what you're speaking to yourself. How you talk about yourself, how you describe yourself. There's real magic in that, so be mindful about that. The other thing is your practice is allowed to evolve, and it should. So I kind of talked about modern hoodoo, and my approach to hoodoo is modern hoodoo. To me, it needs to evolve in order for me to be practicing it. And I absolutely cannot support Christianity as a practice for me, as a spiritual practice for myself. I absolutely cannot. I don't see the value. After Once you know something, you can't unknow something. Understanding origins, understanding the point, the use, how it was introduced to my ancestors, why the slave Bible, the way Black church is still pretty much consistent with how it was done on plantations. Like, I can't, in good faith, keep doing this to know that something has been edited, re edited over and over again with the powers that be in charge and overseeing it. No, I don't want. King James was a person, y'all. Like, I can't reconcile that and say, oh, but the book of Psalms, though, like, I'm not doing it. I can't. Absolutely not. Um, I could, for me personally, what I'm doing with my book, One of the things is to write different proverbs from different cultures, affirmations, charms, poems, lines from movies or books, and use those as powerful petitions and things like that. That's how I would take that approach instead. That's just me. But I started off as somebody who was Wiccan, so my practice evolved. And it's no hate to Wiccans. Um, Creating your own sacred text, exactly. Creating my own sacred text, and that's what I'm doing. So there's some stuff I want to remember, but there's other stuff that I'm purposely creating it so that I always have that to pull on. I could pull on my own. The powers, the divinity is within me as well. It's in you. So I can pull from that. There's nothing wrong with believing something larger than yourself outside of yourself. I just feel like I've got power as well. And I am someone who can create life and sustain it. And I've proven that twice. I believe I am sacred, I am holy, and I have that divinity within me. And I can use that energy to fuel my manifestations. And sometimes it comes out as written text, other times it comes out in what I say. I don't need to pull on this text that to me has blood on it, my people's blood on it, from here and across the oceans. I no, I don't no, I can't work it in. So yeah, but yeah, I used to be Wiccan in the beginning, and it evolved into just a witchcraft, and then it evolved into my desperate trying to be a sea witch. Um, I can't swim. I'm gonna be a sea witch and I can't swim. But yeah, I have connection to the sea, but not as a sea witch. It would take a moment for me to realize that I wanted it to be true, but I'm not a sea witch. I had a calling to the sea, but that's not what it was. And I just need to kind of come through my own thing with that. Does anybody have a thing where they were trying to be something where you just had to fess up to yourself? This is not my path. I love it, but it's actually not my path. Um, I went through my sea witch era where I was trying. It wasn't a good fit. Um, Overall, I have respect for the sea, but I'm not a sea witch. So yeah, I had to evolve. You're not stuck in a version of yourself from where you started. You don't have to be stuck there. So I didn't have to stay stuck as Wiccan. It evolved into something else. And currently I refer to myself as a cottage witch. Who's to say? Time will tell. And I might say, actually come to find out the more, I keep talking about love and I'm talking about all this stuff, I'm really a love witch. Who's to say? We'll see as time goes on. I started calling myself a green witch and can't keep a plant alive. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I know. Like I call myself I live in a cottage, by the way, so I'm not like tripping on the term. Seriously, I do. I live in a cute little cottage. Um, but I don't live in the woods or anything like that. Well, I live in Arizona. There are no woods for me to live in, but that's interchangeably hearth witch. But I have no fireplace, so do with that what you will. We have to laugh at ourselves. You have to find the humor. Don't get too caught up in the seriousness of the stuff. Listen, some things are serious. I think that people they're a little too deep for me. Pull it back, laugh, have fun. Um, it's also okay to outgrow books, traditions, or even the entire practice. Um, the type of which is what I think it'll be fun to kind of go back to old books and see if they still stand the test of time. Um, but I've definitely outgrew. Maybe I'll be a tech wizard. Do you have a lot of tech? Do you have a lot of things accessible to you to do that? Do you know code? Can you code? Because then there's something to be said for that. Um, no, okay, so here's my third tip. No one is grading your magic. That was a weird thing I had to get over. Again, all this was in my head. There's no perfect witch checklist. You're not feeling because you didn't do the full moon ritual this month. That was something I had to get over. Conversely, I'd be mindful if you are someone who feels called to do these full moon rituals or new moon ritual or just lunar workings rituals, and you keep skipping it and you feel bad about it. Maybe it's not, maybe there's something else going on. Are you going through something? What's happening? What's going on? I know what it's like to know I should be doing, like I felt called. If it was a spiritual calling to do some type of ritual or work and I've ignored it. That's a different feeling. What's going on? Ashley, what's going on? Especially if it's not happening once. It's happening. You're not doing any of it. There's something going on. You know what I mean? There's something else. That was my experience. So this is different. Occasionally skipping it because you worked all day and you were freaking exhausted. Okay, cool. You were with the kids. It's the middle of the summer. The kids are home. And you are getting no breaks and you just needed a minute to just sit down and binge watch your show or have a glass of wine or just like be in another room for a couple minutes. Cool, cool. No, totally get that. And you're not failing as a witch if that's the case. If that's your whole summer, by the way, you're not failing. Um, Witchcraft is a personal thing, it's not performative. So no one's grading you. No one's going to come in and say, see, you're not doing it like you're supposed to. Um, and sometimes it does feel like you're not witching hard enough. You're not doing enough witchcraft. I know that feeling. I felt like that. I've been feeling like that. I'll be honest. I've shared it here. I've been feeling like I'm not doing enough witching. I'm not making it more magical. And I fixed it by doing some magic. That's how. Do magic for mundane things and it'll kind of appease that feeling a little bit. So like, you don't have to trip about it. Number four, my fourth thing. You're you are not broken if you need rest, which kind of I alluded to. So burnout is very real. I know I've experienced it multiple times. Spiritually, a burnout. You get tired of tending to the altars. You get tired. You don't feel like you don't want to pull any cards. You don't want to, you know, cast the charms on the board. You don't want to light another candle. You just I don't want a message. I don't want to sign a freaking symbol. I just want to be for a minute. Like I've had enough. I've had those experiences, and I'm just being honest. Like I don't want to do. I just need a minute, and I don't know how long that minute is gonna last. I don't know. I don't know. I need a minute. I think we all get like that. Like I can't help decode a dream. I can't help somebody. I can't. I just need a minute, and I've definitely experienced that. Gratefully, I'm not in that era right now, but I've definitely experienced that. Um, Life was lifing around me. There was spiritual stuff happening. I just wasn't intentionally engaged at times because burnout's real. Um, I don't know. Sometimes the best spell is just sleeping, eating, or just grounding yourself, just being at rest, um, just taking care of yourself, doing the things, the regular activities, the grounding activities throughout your day, like bathing and sleep. Like I said, sleeping. These are grounding activities, and if it's fueling you and providing a sense of peace, that's the spell. I started posting my dreams to blue sky. Ooh, okay. um, yeah, that sometimes that's that, and that's what you have to give right now. That's what you can do. You know, I don't know. But I'm also, caveat, I believe in if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. I like to, I kind of plan for burnout a little bit. So, couple things I'll do. If you are somebody who, even if you're buying store bought potions and lotions and all that sort of stuff, you can still enchant it ahead of time. Just a simple spell, a simple charm that you can speak to it. Um, Pitcher of water, you can have that out with the intention of charging with the full moon. So when you don't feel like it, you don't feel like doing much of anything, at least you're consuming that full moon water, right? Um, Even our beauty, like with your hair. For me, I when I do my retightenings for my hair, I'll to me it's magic. It's not magic. So I'll speak enchantments into it. Um, that lasts me. So I'm not doing anything else, but I've already done the thing. So if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, you know? You know you're gonna have that cup of tea in the morning and you've already into spoke to those herbs in that bag or that jar and said, you'll provide clarity for me or something like that. Okay. So that lasts as long as the herbs are there. So there you go. I also post my own interpretation. I love that. So you're not asking, you're like, here's my dream and here's what it means. I like that. As opposed to people's like, I dreamt this. What do y'all think it means? It's like, what do you think it means? I like that you provide the interpretation. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And that is a big part of my witchcraft. To each their own. Sometimes you do things on the fly and that's cool, but sometimes I think occasionally I think people have lost the plot on to be a witch. To be a witch is to be wise. To be wise is to be prepared. It doesn't mean buying a bunch of things. It doesn't mean having a stock of stuff that you're never going to use. That's not what I'm talking about. I just kind of gave examples. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Already having things available on hand that you already use anyway, already consecrating and blessing them. Maybe when you go and you do a witchy haul, if you have an opportunity, even if Dollar Tree included, say something, have your Florida water, wipe it down, on your rag or whatever. Just wipe things down ahead of time. Uh, that's step one. You're clearing the energy. So that's not an additional step that you have to do. Make a routine of certain things. That way, if you skip it, it's still been done beforehand and that energy is lasting you. Just saying. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Okay. And my final tip 5 is not everything is a sign. Not everything is a sign. So it is okay to ask, was that a message or just my anxiety? Was that a message or was it just my anxiety or my fears? Discernment is also a spiritual skill, by the way. So, discernment. Everything is not going to be a sign. Sometimes a bird is just a bird. Or divine punishment. Don't even get me started. Sometimes your ancestors are not out to get you, typically, unless you have entered into something that none of us know about. I don't know if did you sign up for the punishment? Was that part of the petition? If I don't listen to you do this, please punish me. Like, did you do that? If not, most likely you're not being punished. They're not mad at and angry at you and cursing you beyond the grave in the spirit from the spirit realm because you didn't put a plate of food on their altar or because you didn't follow the message that you believe that you received from them. You're not being punished. Say it louder for the folks in the back. Discernment is a skill lacking nowadays in general. It stresses me out. I know that's right. Leave that with the big three. Yeah, that's when you're getting in. Yeah, a lot of people have taken from the big three, the Abrahamic religions. A lot of people bring that into the practice of, well, we'll just call it spirituality, right? And they believe in this sort of punishment effect. Uh, yeah, I don't. And most people that I'm talking to about this, I'm very delicate, because when you're talking to somebody who truly believes that, they truly believe that, and you don't, you got to be careful. Um, but I like to just bring up the fact that, okay, so to what end do you think these spirits can work in your life? To what end? And I want to have I want to know where your headspace is. Like, where do you? How far will it go? Do you think they kill people? Do you what do you can they move objects? Like, I need to know where your headspace is. For me personally, I had to ask myself those questions as well. It's not to make anybody feel crazy or feel bad. I have issues with anxiety, so trust me, I'm not speaking to be a jerk. Um, I had to ask myself that, like, well, if it's a sign for what? And you kind of got to stop making yourself crazy, because you can make yourself crazy, especially for more anxious folks like me. You can make yourself crazy trying to find a sign or thinking everything's a thing. And even if it is, trust that it'll be revealed. Take note, write it down, keep it pushing. Write it down somewhere, record the sign, the symbol, the dream, the feather, the bird that flew in front of you. Record it. If you have freaking no idea what's going on, wait for more answers to come. And live your life, do your magic, and just keep going. Don't let this hang you up. Trust me, I know. Um, Synchronicities are real, or our dreams, and I don't believe things just. I don't really believe in coincidence very much, but I don't drive myself crazy about it like I used to. Um, yeah. That's not everything is a sign. You have to learn discernment. You have to learn. It's not even about questioning whether it was a sign or not. Okay, it was a sign. Are you supposed to stop for your whole life? But like, what you? This is what I had to tell myself. Like, it's okay. Write it down. Keep living. If there's more, you'll find out over time. I also have issues with patience, so I'm not the most patient person. So that's probably my issue. Anxious and impatient is a crazy combination. Practicing magic, because I want it to happen now, but that's not realistic, and I've had to learn. Um, and then feeling anxious that it didn't happen, so maybe this doesn't work. So all of that. So seeing a sign pop up would just send me into a freaking tizzy. So yeah, it's okay. Maybe it is. If you don't know what it is, just chill, write it down, and live. All will be revealed. It took me forever to finally set up a space for Dionysus, because I was like, is this really a sign or a coincidence? Like, let me just sit with it and make sure. Oh, that's another one. Yeah. He was whacking me for months before I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. I think of synchronicity as I'm on the right path. Exactly. Sometimes a sign just tells you you're on the right path. There's not a deeper message other than, like, maybe it's, if you had been doing ancestor work last month and it's like the end of the following month, and you start seeing certain, thing that kind of puts you in a mindset of what the work you started last, before, or the ritual you were in. Um, it kind of puts you in that mindset. It could just be that you're on the right path. They heard you. Time is different, I believe. I think we can all agree time is a man-made construct. So the idea that you're thinking that you're going to get a message in real time after you did that ritual or after you did that work, it might not work that way. It could be a month and a half from now. And you got some sort of, and you've moved on from that. So you're not thinking about that thing you did a month and a half ago, but it's tied to that. I don't think a lot of us give it credit. Give the concept of time is not something that I think is. I mean, I'm not in the spirit realm, gratefully, so I don't know. Not at this time, not yet. But I don't know if that they see time. I think we can agree that they don't process time the same way we do. We want things now, and they're like, "Oh, we're giving it to you." It's like, well, it's not here yet. What are you talking about? You have it. You just don't have it in this timeline yet. But that goes into the conversation about timelines and taking quantum leaps into your ideal life or your manifested life. I'm a believer in that, and I can kind of meet the spirits where they are, so to speak, and say, "Oh, so it's you have it right here. Oh, let me jump the timeline so I can get it." After 15 or so years of practicing, I feel like one of the core things I've had to develop when it comes to my practice is patience. Oh my goodness, it's so important for me, and also difficult. Patience is one. Me understanding time works different. This is how I've my viewpoint. Time works different in the spirit realm. Time works different in magical thinking. So instead of being impatient, as my true form is, I work that into the magic that I'm doing, into my working. So that's why I like the idea of timeline and timeline jumping, portal magic, and all that sort of stuff. That is my answer to my impatience. I just work it from that angle instead. So find your thing. So if you are somebody like me, you're impatient, maybe start doing working with the theories of timelines and things like that. It might That has helped me a lot, rather than just saying, I'm just going to learn how to be patient. I've been trying to do that since I was a little girl. It's been a struggle since then. Um, but yeah, those are my five little suggestions, and we have reached the end of our chat here. So this was fun. I want it light and fun. There is so much happening in the world, as you know. We could definitely talk about that, but I feel like the proof is in the pudding, and in my case, the proof is in the spell work. Get to witching about this stuff. I keep saying that is my answer. I'm gonna witch about it. I'm gonna do some magic. I'm gonna do some spells. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it. I'm gonna do some spell work. I am very aware of all the stuff that's happening. I do spell work. That's how I'm resolving it. You can air Wait, you and Aries, and you're not meant to be patient. Exactly. Thank you for saying that, because I agree. I'm not meant to. I want to get things done. Very action oriented. If I yeah, I want it now. Fast. Why am I doing like this? This tells you everything you need to know. But on that note, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, hit the join button, and join Lead Taken membership. Here you get wonderful perks like 40% off and other perks, member only videos and things like that, exclusives. Here, it's like a Patreon here on YouTube. So go ahead and hit that join button. It's a small amount to join. The other thing is head to my website, leaptaken.com. I offer services. I do readings. I do a monthly subscription. I had to think about the word monthly subscription, my moon readings, so you can get those as well. And I have a mentorship program. I'm going to open those back up. I stagger that. I'm a one woman witch show over here, and it's just me doing it for now. One day, a little goal of mine is to have others on my team to do the mentorship program. But in the meantime, it's me. So I stagger that because that's a lot of work. It's a lot of energy. I'm working with you one on one. So there's that. Don't forget to check out my other YouTube channel, Magical Lifestyle of a Cottage Witch. It's a more infrequent posting, but it's quality. And you can also find Leap Taken over on TikTok. And there I've started going live a little more often over there. So maybe you can catch me there as well. So that's fun. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have a great weekend. This was fun. I like going, spend some times with your tools and just be like, hey, I like my stuff. I like working with this. Think about that. Let that be your takeaway today. What do I like to work with the most? And get in touch with your tools. That's energy. That's energy. So thanks again. All right, bye.